Turn on the mics and cameras.
We're live.
We're live. Okay, good enough. All right, it's 1:30 and I would like to call the Facilities Committee of the Keystone Central School District Board of Directors meeting to order. And we have a few items on our agenda for today. First of all, we were going to have Alyssa, she's online with us today. She was going to present the information.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so sorry. Thank you.
She was going to present us, I guess, some possible ways to do the solar, what she would have in mind for Liberty Curtain. However, she was not able to get we
didn't get the drawings.
And so on
Is what it comes down to.
in enough time to actually get it ready for. So hopefully she'll be ready with that at the next month's meeting. So, so I don't know whether she had anything she wanted to add to that or not. But and also I
That's
think
perfect.
do you have anything you wanted to add to that, Alyssa, or anything else?
Nope, that's perfect. Just listening in.
Okay, good to have you with us.
Yes. Yep. I'm trying to-
Yeah, we're gonna attempt to have Jeff Straub from Crabtree Architects here with us at next month's meeting, also to give us an update on where everything is at the Liberty Curtain project, and give us a progress report since we haven't talked to him in several months. So I think it'd be a good time for him to give us a quick update here. So we'll be having that on next month's agenda as well. Moving on to the second item, and that is the Robb Elementary trees. I think we have some tree problems down there with roots and so on the one side. Is that correct?
Well,
On
there's
the
6 of
Washington
them
Street side?
altogether. That you
Seven
looked at.
total.
7. Okay.
Yeah, there's 3 on the one side that are breaking up the amosite. Out in front of the building, there is a large tree that's split. Yeah, so there's 3 on one side with the amosite that's all broken up, and that's where the kids come on and off the bus.
Mhm.
And then out in front of the school, there's a large maple tree that it's kind of split and the whole trunk of it is rotten out. You can see down inside of it pretty far, with a little tree next to it that is half dead. There's 2 pine trees in the playground that interfere with security from the cameras. You can't see to the far end of the playground area. And then there's several stumps from trees that were cut down along the playground fence years ago.
They never ground down.
They never ground the stumps, so the package deal was to do all of that.
Is this, you're gonna do an RFP, or do you already have someone signed up that you have in mind to take trees out, or?
So I just picked a local person and had a quote put in. It was fairly reasonable quote for all of the work. It actually was decent before the 2 pine trees, and then the principal and assistant principal asked about those as well for security purposes. So yeah, I can get additional ones, but that was a pretty well-known local contractor.
What estimate did the verbal estimate be? Approximately, just,
$4,200.
okay.
So yeah,
And
that's everything.
all the stumps will be ground.
Yep, the only thing we're gonna do is take they're gonna bring in a wood chipper. And for PSO folks, I told them we could move the mulch afterwards. So we can use some of the mulch on different areas around the district.
Oh, yes,
Yeah, so
that's wonderful.
instead of having them charge us to haul it all away, we can take our little dump truck down and fill it up and use it around the district.
That's how Kingsford Charcoal came to be.
Yes, I saw that on, what was that?
Sam, are we gonna I'm assuming we're going to do some replacing of the ones along the side of the building there where the kids get off the bus.
Yeah, so I talked to Frank about, in the future, after we get everything cleaned up, is planting some trees that definitely have downward growing roots. Something that would look, appealing to the public in front of the, in all the locations, both in front of the building and the other three, on the side street. We want to put something in there that's gonna look good. to the public, so.
Do you have anything in mind? Any specific kind? Have you gotten to that point?
I have not.
Researched anything like that?
No, I have not researched any new trees to put in. I'm open to suggestions.
Might be
Well-
interesting.
Elizabeth may be helpful in that regard. She's big into this. So.
Sorry, Dr. Redmond.
Good.
Now I don't know if this is plausible, so I don't want to get you excited.
Mhm.
But Dr. Redmond and I are on the committee for the 250th anniversary of our nation's birthday for Clinton County. And our next meeting might not be for another month or after the election, I believe.
Mhm.
Well, anyways, make a long story short, we had our first meeting, one concept thrown out there is plant 250 trees around Clinton County. And each tree would, have its own special maybe sign or something. So I'm assuming you're not in any hurry due to the season to get the trees replaced. And maybe it might be something where 1, 2, or 3 of the 250 trees, if the committee so chooses, they might be at Rob with a
Mhm.
plaque or something. You have a little
It's a good
ceremony.
idea.
So is it okay if I share that idea when we have our next committee meeting?
Sounds like a wonderful idea.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
it's a potential.
And I think we could also look
I
at
like
the
it.
PSU Extension Office and get some ideas about,
Mhm.
native plantings and trees that might do the things we want, downward growing, shade
Absolutely.
trees, all that sort of thing, ornamentals, whatever.
Yeah, lots
Yeah,
of
It's
resources
a good
here.
idea.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I have one other question is, one of the reasons for taking some of the trees out was the location of the cameras. Is it possible to move cameras or add a camera or something rather than take additional trees down?
So Bill, when I'm looking, looking at the map right now, and these trees are kind of right here in the center.
Yeah.
And so no matter, if we have trees there, it's no matter where we put the cameras, it's gonna block off some of the playground. And so the idea of taking out the trees is to open up the sight lines from anywhere along this building.
So if they were on the perimeter or,
I understand that.
Yeah.
Is it possible to put another camera in rather than take additional trees out?
Along
If
this
we're talking
facade,
about replacing trees and
Sure.
adding trees, yeah.
anywhere we put a camera that's gonna, I'm sorry, anywhere we put trees to replace in here, or we take, I'm not saying this the right way, basically to see everywhere along here, no matter, if these trees are here, no matter where we put a camera, there's gonna be blocked sight
Well,
lines.
okay. Are we, I'm sorry, and I'm not meaning to, I'm not trying to belabor the point,
Mhm.
but that whole green area where you've been waving your finger,
Down
is there
here.
no place around on
Oh.
a corner of that where a camera could be put
No.
to do the same thing?
Not reasonably, just because it's a long stretch away, and it would be a significant, I'd have to look into it.
Okay.
My supposition is
That
that it
is-
would add a lot of.
Could you look
cost.
into it,
Sure,
please?
absolutely.
it
Thank
would
you.
be interesting though. I see what he's saying in the lower left-hand corner or the upper left corner. There are light poles going down that street, I believe. And I
Right.
know PPL doesn't like anything on there, and I understand that. But I'm just saying, that would be interesting, so you could have, even if it had nothing to do with the trees, to work with your security team and officers and see if that would be beneficial
Mhm.
to have sightlines also shooting, wrong word, I'm sorry, towards the building, you know?
Yeah, we'll check
So-
into it.
Yeah, I know that we haven't looked at putting cameras anywhere else other than the building.
Sure.
So
And
it's
I
something,
mean-
something we
That's a
could
good
look
point, though.
into.
Let's face it, with not only feasibility, but economic feasibility, we'd have to see if it's gonna be mega expensive to put another camera in, then we just have to go with taking the trees down.
Yeah.
But if it's reasonable, I think that might be a better approach.
Yeah, I know there's some other issues with the trees. They're, because they're pine trees and the sap on the playground and,
Yeah, no, pine trees.
you know what I
And they-
mean?
Okay.
So there was a two-sided thing to it, but the most important from the principal's eyes were the security.
Sure.
So,
I think it'd probably be more expensive to put a camera in than to take out a couple trees.
yeah, we
Well,
can.
let's find out rather
Yeah.
than speculate.
Easy enough.
All right, moving on.
Well, I just had one last question. Then does that mean the macadam asphalt is gonna be patched right
So they
away?
want to put stone in there and move picnic tables they currently have next to the building out onto to the stone area.
Okay,
Yeah, there's a seam, so they basically poured that macadam in two passes. And there's a seam down the middle,
Right.
and we're gonna go to that first seam so that we kind of capture all the broken areas from the roots.
mhm.
And then put in a decorative stone for them and move
So you're gonna be reducing the square footage of asphalt.
yes.
That's wonderful.
Go into crushed stone instead?
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, next item. We're looking at a change in the Woodward Elementary traffic flow for parents because there's a lot of congestion over there, as there are in a lot of the schools right now because of the busing situation. There's, I think, Sam and Dr. Redmond and so on. I've looked at creating a new traffic flow pattern over there, which will require making a couple changes. I think maybe taking out a section of fence and so on to go through where that parking area is. And it will probably eliminate what, 2 or 3 parking spaces?
It's a total of 3 parking spaces to get the right swing. So you would basically come up the lane and drop the kids would be dropped off in the front of the school. And then rather than loop through the parking lot and go back out the same entrance, the township said it would be okay if we put an exit onto that township road and loop them back down that way to the main road, rather than back through the parking lot creating congestion.
No, I understand. Would
So-
you be able to give us a visual for the work session so everyone can see the concept?
Yep.
That'd be
And
lovely.
I have it here as well on my screen. If you
Sure.
can see.
Mhm.
So we'd have, the township would widen this road, so we'd have a spot for
Mhm.
cars to sit off to the side, and then a little bit of this would be our responsibility, but then we'd have parents exit out through this onto Riverside Terrace and then exit out this way. Right now, they have to go all the way around the parking lot. And then
No, I
come back out
understand.
Through there.
Yep. Yep.
So it's just kind of creating a more even flow to get parents in and out for both drop off and pickup.
Yeah,
Oh,
I just-
it's completely logical, but that'd be nice if there was a visual
Okay.
for the work session, so everyone,
Certainly do that.
that'd be lovely.
Is the loss of those parking places important?
There's when we were out there looking
They
at
had
the
enough.
middle of the school day, there were plenty of extra parking spots in
Yeah,
that
good.
area.
Good.
Yeah, that was one of the questions that was asked. So, yeah, I just happened to go by there this morning at drop off time. So I see what the need is and I think that'll work out really good. They'll just go straight through there and make one big loop. So it'll keep things moving.
Chair Jeff? Yes, thank you. And just for the record, and I personally have every highest respect for the Woodward Township supervisors. But I'm assuming there's going to be a memorandum of understanding or something that they are going to do the road in a time frame or something, just so there's a paper trail.
Yep.
That'd
Yeah,
be lovely.
anything we do with the township will have a letter draft.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else on that? I think it sounds like a good solution to keep the traffic flow moving. Next item, Renova Elementary Emergency Generator and Switchgear. I think this is something that Rob had started before he
So,
left. And
I did quite a bit of homework this week or last week to figure out the situation here. They bought a switchgear in 2021. The current switchgear is working fine and there's no issues. And the emergency generator they have is working fine. There's no issues other than it's not large enough. Doesn't have the capacity for the walk-in freezer and refrigerator at the elementary school. So in the past, they had, if they lost power for any extended period of time, they would just take the food out of the elementary school and take it over to the high school. The high school has plenty of capacity with their new power system and that can handle the refrigerator, freezer there, and they have enough room. So it's not a emergent need from our end. There is a generator that came from Dickey Elementary School when they
Sure.
closed that, that's
remember
sitting
that.
in a shed. Yeah, so there's never been any
Mhm,
design or engineering that went into
mhm.
a plan. It was, the switchgear was bought, it's there. And there's a generator that we don't know if it works or not, because it's been sitting for how many years?
Mhm.
So that project is pretty far away from any type of completion. I just don't think that that it ranks really high on our priority list right now for the school.
Is the elementary school that building that's just opposite the building where we had our meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's an
very
identical
low
design.
priority.
Yep.
Except
Identical to
that,
Hell
that
Hall.
other generator is it ever tested to see if it actually would work?
It has not operated, I was told, since Dickey Elementary was shut down.
Yes, and that's been years and years and years.
Is it worthwhile to test that and see if it, we have it or not, rather
it
than think we
diesel?
have it?
No,
you know?
it runs off of natural gas.
Oh, that is the natural
Yeah.
gas.
Yeah.
Great. Well, that's something at least. Just had a good, quick question. I'm assuming that the power, usually PP&L or whoever the electric carrier is, they're usually the schools, hospitals
Mm.
are on a special switch. So even though the whole other areas may be out, they get priority. Their electricity goes on first. So is there, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but losing electricity at the Bucktail campus, has this been an ongoing problem, or do they keep most of their electricity most of the time? Because they do have, different infrastructure up there.
So I asked our maintenance folks that have been there for
Mhm, great.
years. And they never more than a few hours.
That sounds about, yep, great.
Yeah. So they did mention there was one time where they had to take the food from the elementary school over to the high school, but ever since the renovations at Bucktail were completed,
Yes,
they have plenty of capacity there.
okay. Well, I appreciate all the work you did, and it definitely doesn't sound like a priority at all.
Yeah.
But thanks for bringing it to our attention.
Yes.
No, I think I agree. It's not a real high priority item on the list compared to all the other things we need to do, so. All right, next item, the water line from for the Bucktail football, baseball fields. You're up again, Sam.
So this project was brought to my attention. Rob had bought a bunch of equipment back in the spring to have installed up there between the tennis courts, football field, and the baseball field. The water line runs directly between the football field and the tennis courts, and it kind of out towards the end of the property. There was a deal or an agreement made where if the Renova Borough Water Authority put in, if we bought the equipment, they would pay to put the meter in. So I did verify on Renova, we have a meter pit. We have the equipment which the meter is housed in, and we do have some water line piping up there. The only thing we need yet to buy is like a 2-inch hydrant, yard hydrant, to put, at surface level so we could use to water those fields. I do believe that this is a good project based on the current operation is to take
The
the
river?
diesel tractor to the river and 700 feet of fire hose connected
Mhm.
for 2 days straight is how they currently water the
Mhm.
football field
Yep.
every spring. So I think,
Thank you. I remember this. And this is one question I don't think we asked Rob back then. Was there a need, is there a need that this water line can also be used for drinking water? PEX or whatever material. So if a need might come up in the future where they want drinking or washing water, that it could still also be used for that.
and I do know that it's certainly a potable water line.
Yes, it is.
And as long as we put it on our testing schedule with everything else, I don't see why it couldn't be used.
That might be beneficial
Mm.
for potential future.
I mean, you could, the location we're looking at, you could easily put a water fountain area or, water filler station at the football field and, all three locations really, but
Okay.
definitely at the football field and the baseball field.
Okay, what do you folks think of that? I mean, it's something that's,
Well, I think it would certainly be welcome from the coach's standpoint as far as having things there for kids for hydrating and so on, especially during those fall practices.
Yeah,
August.
absolutely. And
And-
an opportunity for maintaining safe hydration is probably a good idea. You
And
know, when you're
also-
dealing with multiple athletic fields. you know.
less
Right.
plastic bottles. Wow, I didn't even, yeah, hydration. Mhm.
Yeah, I think
No,
that's,
this sounds good. I mean, in that whole, not just what sounds like a cumbersome nature to get the water out of the river,
Oh, it's-
being admittedly completely non-knowledgeable about what's required. I can just see having to deal with multiple governmental agencies at multiple levels at times to do that. So, would be better to eliminate that if we could.
Yeah, this seems.
I mean, if the river's got, I can just picture the
You-
feds, the state, the kind of every, and just.
I've seen it. I've seen it when I was up there 6 years ago. It was when we had a drought, one of the drought years. And this is huge for saving staff time. This is great.
What kind of expense are we looking at? Do you
So-
think? Just, wild ass scientific guess.
To hook this water line up,
Yeah,
I think if we have $1,500 more into it than what we already do,
piece of cake, yeah.
yeah. Because the expensive components to this have already been purchased out of last year's budget.
I remember that. Mm, Good job.
Yeah.
yeah. And when would this happen?
Right now, the Renova Water Authority's schedule said October. It was probably mid to end October was the earliest they could get out there. Because they'll bring a machine to put
Mhm.
the meter pit down in the ground.
Good. Get
Yeah.
it done yet this year. So
That's what I'm hoping for.
that's even better.
Mid-October's 3 weeks. That's nothing.
Yeah.
Right, so you're thinking within the next month and a half, this could be a
Complete.
project.
So, are we gonna, that fire hose, I'm sure if you folks all decide if that goes to auction someday, I want to be there to see who buys all that hose.
And there's a pallet of it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's some fire company
I was
somewhere
gonna
that'll
say,
want
I
it.
Well,
bet you there's a
hopefully it's
fire
still-
company that's interested in it,
Somebody will
It's-
want it.
We'll meet there.
although they may want a donation,
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
well, anyways,
they're
thank
hard
you.
up for money too. So, all right. Yeah, that sounds good. Hopefully it may be completed by the time we have the next meeting. If they stay on that timeline. So it's a chance for it. So. All right, the last two items are informational. Bucktail Stormwater Piping Repair. Can we bring us an update on that? I think this was
I
mentioned
am,
before.
I'm meeting with the Clinton County Conservation District tomorrow up at Bucktail. I've spoken to the Department of Environmental Protection for the state and the Conservation District. The Conservation District had stopped and looked at it when they were in the area for another project, and they want to meet with me. You know, I requested that we look at this together as a team rather than the school district go out and try and dream up a job, you know, some type
Thank
of
you.
project without involving them, because we're gonna need their blessing at the end no matter what. So I figure we'll do this as a joint effort, and that way we don't get out of line.
Good idea.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And again, if they have reasonable options for you to consider,
Mhm.
please, because, again, if they have to get the rainwater pumped to the, not pumped, draining into our river, I mean, for me, that's a last resort. Ideally, the Conservation District and DEP might offer some other solution so that water will be seen as a resource and not as something we need to get rid of right now.
Yeah, I'll certainly consider every option they provide us.
Thank you.
Okay. And last on the agenda is the update on the water heater for here. High school.
It still has not been delivered, and it estimated delivery by the end of September. So hopefully, I haven't seen it this week, but we have a few more days left.
Yeah.
So everything else, though, I mean, they're adapting to what they have and it's not causing major problems right
Yeah, it's
now.
not causing problems.
Great.
We still have warm water. We're good.
For the people who are doing the delivering, there's people that are going to be installing.
Yes, it's all part of a McClure project.
Okay, I just wanted, yeah. So are you leaning on them to make sure that the installers are available whenever they choose to deliver this thing?
Yeah, my biggest concern is getting it here right now. And once it's here, what kind of schedule they have for installation, so.
Been a rough couple of years.
Okay. Anything else on that? Okay,
May I just add something? This isn't a new agenda item. This is just, since Alyssa's here and we're here, this is sort of goes back to B1, the solar at Liberty. I just had a comment and going back to what she had handed out to us multiple times, her company's information for us. Something that might be interesting to have on a future facilities committee meeting. And since we're sort of in the middle of this right now, is we all know construction costs usually go up by a certain percentage every year. We can't stop that. But what we can do is look at these roofs that the McClure company has stated in their document, and then simple math. We take the average annual increase in construction costs. We look at the age of the roof, and would it be more beneficial for us to get some of these roofs replaced sooner versus later, with the understanding that the panels go on the roof, so we're offsetting that cost with the amount of electricity getting generated versus waiting for those roofs to fail, which then may actually cost us more money, or the district, I should say, more money 10 or 15 years from now. So simple math, but something to consider. And hopefully that discussion might happen sometime in the near future.
well, I think that would be a part of that whole solar discussion in general. I mean, that would be one facet of it. As we just decide where we want to go with that whole project. And if we would decide to go with this proposal, and I think that certainly would be, behoove us to probably look into that as part of the whole package, so.
Thank you.
Would be more cost effective. Okay, well, that's the end of all the items that we have on the agenda today, unless there's anything else. we need to bring. If hearing none, then this will be one of our shortest meetings ever. So, we'll, adjourn the meeting. It's exactly 2:01. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.